Well, hi everyone, and welcome to our Vida Live for the month of June. This month we are focusing on one of our schools, Mocohán School. So we are live on location there, and we're just so excited today. We are joined by the principal of that school and also by one of the students. And we're just going to spend the next little bit having an interview with them. And then once that's complete, we will let you guys ask some questions. So there is a chat at the bottom. If you want to write questions throughout it, then I'll be able to read them throughout the event. But we just want to say welcome. My name's Kristen, if I didn't say that already, and I'm the operation manager for Impact Ministries Canada. And thank you for spending your Friday with us, or if you're watching this at a later time, just thanks for being with us. So Rita, I'm going to pass it right over to you, and you can just let us know who you're joined by, and you can begin the interview.
Okay, thank you. I'm Rita Peters, and I'm happy to be here. I just arrived from Canada last night, so I'm still a little bit tired. I'm here with the principal from our school here in Mocohán. His name is Oscar, and one of the grade 7 students that is studying here at this school. So I'm going to let Oscar begin. I'm going to ask him how he first heard of, got involved with Impact Ministries. ¿Cómo es que primeramente tú conociste a Ministerios de Impacto?
Muy bien. Hola, mi nombre es Oscar.
Hi, my name is Oscar.
Quiero contarles que
And I want to tell you,
en el colegio pues inicié, mi mamá me inscribió a uno de los colegios Vida.
my mom, she registered me in a Vida School.
Desde ese momento pues inició una nueva etapa en mi vida porque
And that's when a new stage of my life began.
escuchábamos de los colegios Vida que era una bendición para cada uno de los niños.
And we heard that the Vida schools were a big blessing for all the children.
Y en ese tiempo pues aprendimos mucho de los caminos de Dios.
And we learned all about God's way.
Mi familia no era cristiana.
My family was not Christian.
Y a través de los maestros,
And through the teachers,
de cada una de las personas que nos
and every
visitaban
one of the people that came to visit us,
del extranjero,
even from the foreign lands,
aprendimos mucho de Dios
we learned all about God
y también a refugiarnos en él.
and to find refuge in Him.
El colegio ha sido una bendición para cada uno de nosotros.
It has been such a blessing for each one of us, the schools. Y les quieres contar un poco de que has crecido y te has casado y tienes hijos. I am asking him just to let you know a little bit about his life now.
Empecé a estudiar desde el grado de preparatoria.
I started in the school in grade 1.
Y terminé, me gradué en tercero básico.
I finished junior high school.
Y luego me fui a estudiar a otro establecimiento.
Then I went to a different establishment
de maestro.
to learn to become a teacher.
Y después volví a regresar nuevamente a uno de los colegios.
But then I returned to one of the
A
schools
hacer prácticas.
to do my practice teaching.
Y en ese tiempo me dieron la oportunidad para hacer, el siguiente año me dieron la oportunidad para ya ser un maestro.
And for the following year after I graduated, they already gave me the place to be a teacher.
Para ejercer esa labor que es tan importante.
To do this work that is so important.
Y he aprendido mucho durante este tiempo. Llevo trabajando 9 años.
I have now been a teacher in the schools for 9 years, and I've learned so much.
8 años como docente.
So for 8 years, I was simply a teacher.
Y actualmente director del colegio Vida
And now
Mocohán.
I'm the director here of the elementary school in Mocohán.
Y en este tiempo, pues yo he visto mucho la misericordia de Dios.
I have seen God's mercy so greatly in this time.
Y el apoyo que recibimos de nuestros hermanos.
And the support that we received from our brothers and sisters.
Ver a los niños acá adorando a Dios.
To see the children worshiping the Lord.
Impacta mi corazón.
It impacts my heart.
Y también puedo decir
and I can also tell you that
que la fidelidad de Dios
that God's faithfulness
ha estado siempre
It has always been
sobre Ministerios Impacto.
over this ministry, Impact Ministries. Y, ¿qué es tu parte favorita de trabajar aquí? What is your favorite part about working here?
Mi parte favorita de trabajar acá en el Colegio Vida Mocohán, pues es ver cómo los niños cantan y se entregan en adoración a Dios en los momentos de los devocionales.
My favorite part is just to see how the children sing to the Lord and they just give themselves in worship to the Lord.
Y también puedo ver cómo a través de los colegios se van formando líderes
And I can also see how through these schools, God is raising up leaders
que van impactando a la comunidad,
that are impacting the community.
porque a través de cada niño
Because through every child,
hemos visto
we have seen
que muchas familias
that many families
se han acercado a Dios.
have drawn close to the Lord.
Y eso es lo que a mí me impacta y es una de las áreas favoritas.
That's what impacts me the most, and it's one of my favorite parts. I also want to tell you that Oscar got married a few years back now, and he just became a dad for the first time about a month and a half ago. He has a beautiful daughter, and he was married to one of our teachers as well. So they're a strong couple in our ministry, and we're so pleased with that. Oscar, I'm going to ask him now what benefits the children receive in the school that is more than just the academic education. ¿Qué más beneficios tiene cada alumno aquí que es más que solo lo académico?
Muy bien, los beneficios que reciben los niños pues
The
son muy,
benefits that the children receive
muy especiales.
are very special.
A través de patrocinios, pues ellos
Through the sponsorship program,
son muy
they are
bendecidos
very blessed.
al momento de recibir un zapato
In the moment when they receive their pair of shoes
o una chumpa,
or a jacket,
que ellos se sienten muy
they
gozosos,
feel so happy.
y también al recibir una carta de su
And to
patrocinador,
receive a letter from their sponsor,
ellos se sienten muy
they feel
motivados
very motivated
a través de las palabras que
through the words
su patrocinador le
of
escribe.
that come from their sponsor to them.
Y también en este tiempo de pandemia, pues
And during this pandemic time,
hemos visto también que les han apoyado a través de víveres.
and we have seen how many groceries have come and they've been blessed by the groceries.
Y muchas familias estaban muy agradecidas
The families are so thankful
por esos programas que
For these
reciben los
programs,
niños acá en el colegio.
that the children here at the school receive. Y esos alumnos tendrían oportunidad, como ya te dije que te voy a preguntar. I'm asking Oscar if all these students here would have opportunity of studying if it wasn't for this school being here.
De los 216 alumnos que nosotros tenemos acá en Colegio Vida Mocohán, podría decir que el 50% de ellos no tendrían acceso a una educación.
Of the 216 students that are in the elementary school here in Mocohán, I can easily say that 50% wouldn't have access to education
Por los bajos recursos que tienen los padres.
because of the lack of resources that parents have.
También hay algunos padres o familias que viven en divorcio, están familias desintegradas.
There are also many broken homes and where the families are in a divorce situation.
Algunos niños que ya no cuentan con sus padres,
There are children that can't count on their parents.
pero acá en el colegio ellos vienen y encuentran un refugio muy importante.
But here at the school, they come here and they find a refuge for their hearts. ¿Nos puedes contar algo acerca de uno de tus alumnos? I'm asking him if he would like to tell us just a really brief story of one of his students.
Quiero contarles la historia de Frander.
I want to tell you a little story about Frander.
Es un niño de sexto primaria.
He is in what we would consider grade 7.
Él lamentablemente vive con sus tías.
He lives with his aunt.
Él no tiene a sus padres.
He doesn't have parents.
Su mamá falleció cuando tenía 7 años.
His mother died when he was 7 years old.
Desde que él estaba en el grado de segundo primaria.
Ever since he was in grade 3.
Sus maestros cuentan que él siempre se ha esforzado para entregar sus tareas.
His teachers, they tell us that he's always put in so much effort in handing in all his homework.
Y en este tiempo que yo he estado compartiendo con él,
and during this time that I've been here with him,
he estado viendo que él se entrega mucho en los devocionales.
I've seen that he just is so fully dedicated in the devotional times.
Y yo siento que él encuentra refugio.
I can sense that he is finding that refuge.
Porque a pesar de que no tiene a sus padres,
because even though he doesn't have parents,
podemos ver que el colegio
we can see that the school
ha sido de bendición para
has
su
been a
vida.
blessing for his life.
Y ahora, en este tiempo que él está en sexto primario,
And now during this time that he is in the 7th grade,
yo le he preguntado a su maestro cómo él ha estado.
I've asked his teacher, how is he doing now?
Y gracias a Dios, pues él ha estado muy motivado.
And thanks to the Lord, he has been so motivated.
Y podemos ver que él va a ser un buen líder.
And we can see that he's going to be a great leader.
Que va a impactar a su comunidad.
That is going to impact his community.
Y por eso es necesario
and that's why it's
que
necessary
le apoyemos
that we encourage him and we
académicamente y espiritualmente.
academically and also spiritually. We also have with us here a grade 7 student from this school. I'm going to ask her name and what grade she's in. ¿Y tu nombre cómo es?
Janeida.
Her name is Janeida. ¿Y en qué grado estás estudiando?
Estoy en el grado de sexto primaria.
So she is in the grade 7 class. ¿Cuántos años tienes?
12.
She is 12 years old. Y ¿cuánto tiempo estás ya en este colegio? ¿Desde qué grado?
Empecé a estudiar desde el grado de preparatoria cuando tenía 5 años.
Oh, I started here in the 1st grade when I was 5 years old.
Me hablaba mucho de Colegio Vida y pues tenía curiosidad de cómo era.
They were talking so much about the Vida School and I was very curious about how it was here.
Y le pedí a mi mamá que me inscribiera. Ya quería venir a estudiar.
And so I asked my mom, please register me here because I want to study in this school.
Y ahora estoy en sexto primaria y llevo 7 años estudiando.
So now I'm in grade 7. I've been here this is my 7th year in the school. ¿Y tienes hermanitos aquí también?
Sí.
Yeah.
Tengo un hermanito.
Una.
Está en grado de primer
Uh-huh.
primaria.
So I asked her if she had any siblings here. So she has one brother and he's in grade 2. Qué bueno. Y ¿qué es tu cosa favorita en ese colegio?
Lo que más me gusta del Colegio Vida es poder acercarme.
So I asked her, what is your favorite thing here at the school? And she said, my favorite thing at the school is that we can draw really close to God.
Me gusta que hagan devocionales y que oren con nosotros.
I like the devotional times and I love it that they pray for us.
Que estén con nosotros en los momentos difíciles.
And they're with us when we go through difficult times.
Y me gusta compartir con amigos.
And I really enjoy the friendships that I have here at the school.
Me gusta jugar mucho aquí. Me gusta que nos guíen en el camino de Dios.
And I love playing here with all my friends. And I also like it so much that they teach us to walk in God's ways. ¿Y tienes un versículo favorito que nos quieres compartir? And I asked her if she would like to share a favorite Bible verse with us.
Mi versículo favorito es Filipenses 4:3. Todo lo puedo en Cristo que me fortalece.
My favorite Bible verse is in Philippians chapter 4, verse 13, and it says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. ¿Y cuál es el propósito de que te gusta ese versículo?
Es mi versículo favorito porque me ayuda a saber que Dios siempre está conmigo y que me acompaña.
I asked her why that is her favorite verse, and she said, that is my favorite verse because it shows me that God is always with me and he will always go with me wherever I go.
Y me hace saber que puedo lograrlo todo con ayuda de él.
And it lets me know that I can accomplish everything that I want to do with God's help.
Por esa razón me gusta mucho este versículo.
And for this reason, I really love that verse.
Y es un gusto para mí poder compartir este versículo.
And it's a joy for me to be able to share with you today. ¿Y tú qué sueños tienes para tu futuro?
Tengo muchos sueños, de verdad. Deseo seguir estudiando y poder alcanzar mis metas. Que con la ayuda de Dios pueda lograr ser una doctora.
Una?
Doctora.
So I asked her if she had any dreams for the future, and she said, oh, I have a lot of dreams for the future. And what I would like, she said, is with God's help, I would like to continue studying, and I'd love to one day become a doctor. No sé si hay otra cosa que tú quieres agregar.
La verdad que es muy importante, podemos ver que cada uno de nosotros, los que fuimos creciendo acá en los colegios Vida.
So I wanted to just add one more thing. He says, it's very important for us to see that those of us who grew up in the school,
hemos logrado ser buenos líderes.
we have been able to become good leaders.
Cuando era pequeño,
When I was small,
yo soñaba ser maestro.
I dreamt of one day being a teacher.
Y ahora que estoy acá en un colegio Vida impartiendo clases,
And now that I am in a Vida School and I'm giving classes,
ayudando a los niños,
helping the children,
puedo ver que ellos también pueden llegar a ser buenos líderes.
then I can see that they can also become good leaders.
En Yaneida también hemos visto que Dios ha obrado grandemente.
And in Yaneda, this girl here, we have seen that God is working greatly in her life.
Ella es una buena estudiante
She's a very good student.
y también su maestro siempre está bien motivado por su conducta.
And her teacher, he always is so motivated because of her good conduct.
Y por la meta que ella tiene en su corazón.
And for her goal that she has in her heart.
Agradecemos todo el apoyo que nos brindan.
We want to thank all of you for the great support that you give us.
Sabemos que Dios les va a recompensar a cada uno de ustedes.
We know that God will repay each one of you.
Y aquí estamos nosotros, somos muestra de lo que Dios ha hecho en cada uno de los colegios.
And here we are, we're an example of what God has done in all our schools. So I think with that, is it time? I'd like to hand it over to Kristen.
Perfect. No, we just so appreciate you guys taking the time and just sharing a little bit. And we're just open it up for some questions. If you have any questions, please feel free to write them in the chat and we'll be able to answer them and just kind of spend the next few minutes doing that. So our first question that came in here is how many sponsors are still needed for our students in Mocohán? So how many students in Mocohán don't have sponsors? And I think I can probably answer that one if you guys aren't sure, Rita.
We're not sure. ¿Cuántos todavía
Okay.
necesitan patrocinadores?
Muchos estudiantes de nosotros que todavía no tienen patrocinadores y la verdad que yo puedo ver cuando yo tenía mi patrocinador, pues a mí me hacía muy especial poder recibir una carta de mi patrocinador y me alegraba mucho cuando podía recibir una felicitación de parte de mi patrocinador. Y ahora en este tiempo que nosotros estamos viendo a nuestros niños, a los que faltan de patrocinador, podemos ver que algunos de ellos pues siempre están ahí preguntando y mi carta o qué es lo que me mandó mi patrocinador y si se recordó mi patrocinador de mí y a veces cuando nos preguntan nosotros le decimos tenemos que esperar porque no tenemos patrocinador.
So he says that there are children in the school here who don't have a sponsor yet. And they're always asking, they're always coming up and saying, do I have a sponsor yet? Did I get a letter from my sponsor? Because it motivates them so greatly when they do have a sponsor. And he says, I always have to tell them, well, we have to wait a little bit longer for a sponsor to come for you.
Awesome. And I'm going to put just a link in the chat that is to our SponsorSoft, and there you can see some of those children who are still waiting for a sponsor from Mocohán. We have about 7 that we're seeing here. Looks like they're all boys from Mocohán School, so you'll be able to just view the link in the chat there, and that should lead you there. Another question here, and this is for Yaneda. What is your favorite subject in school?
Alguien está haciendo una pregunta para ti. ¿Cuál es tu tema favorito en el colegio de estudio?
Mi tema favorito es
Así entre matemáticas, sociales, ciencias.
educación cristiana. Mi tema favorito es educación cristiana.
¿Y en lo académico? ¿Cuál sería tu favorito? Así de los académicos, matemáticas, sociales, ciencias.
Matemáticas.
She said that her favorite subject is Christian life, the Christian life. It's a class that they receive. So I asked her, but specifically academically, what is your favorite subject? And she said that mathematics is her favorite subject.
There's a question here for Oscar. What is the biggest challenge being a principal?
¿Qué tienes como director aquí en ese colegio?
Mi reto más grande es guiar a los maestros, porque creo que cada uno de los maestros pues, son tan especiales y puedo ver que también ellos tienen problemas y muchas veces pienso yo de que al momento de hablar con ellos pues tengo que tener esas palabras, unas palabras de ánimo y también al momento de llamarles la atención pues también hacerlas de una manera correcta y a través de los maestros de cómo guiarlos también ellos van a transmitirle a sus alumnos esa guianza que nosotros le hacemos y lo más importante de todo esto es que yo pueda ser un buen líder y ese es un gran reto también para mí.
So the biggest challenge for me is to guide the teachers, because I talk to the teachers one-on-one and many times they have their own problems. And then I have to give them words that will encourage them and will show them what way to go, because then they go and they guide their students. So I have to do all this with the way that God would want me to do that.
Question here, how can we best help or how can we best pray for you guys and for Mocohán School?
¿De qué podemos orar que sea lo mejor para el colegio de Mocohán?
Lo mejor que pueden en oración pues es para que las familias de nuestros niños puedan tener el amor de Dios y también para que en ese tiempo ellos puedan seguir confiando también en los caminos de Dios. La verdad que muchos de nuestros alumnos que están en el colegio, pues han estado perseverando en la iglesia, han estado aprendiendo mucho de sus maestros durante este tiempo de pandemia, que muchas veces nos alejó de todas las actividades que nosotros realizamos. En este tiempo, pues yo digo que si nos apoyan en la oración hacia nuestros niños, que todos, toda la todas las familias puedan reconocer que Dios es nuestro verdadero amor. Y
Ay, voy a tener que traducir porque es mucho recordarme todo lo que. So he says, and if you could join us in prayer for the families so that they could receive God's love in their homes and in their families. We have many students who have persevered even in the church, even during this pandemic time, but they want to carry that message home, and so they need that strengthening in their hearts of God's love for them so that they can take that home. Puedes seguir, pero solo que me das espacio para traducir.
sí, también hay muchas familias que están desintegradas,
And there's many broken families.
muchos padres en alcoholismo,
There's many parents here that are alcoholics.
y muchas veces vienen los niños y se acercan
And many of the children, they come and they draw close to us.
se acercan a su maestro para contarles cómo están viviendo.
They talk to their teachers openly and tell them of their problems.
Y muchas veces el maestro lo está ministrando
And many times the teachers are ministering to them
para poder animarle
so that they could encourage them
a seguir académicamente,
to continue academically.
y a través de eso
And through that,
hablarles de la palabra de Dios,
and to speak to them from God's word,
decirles que hay una esperanza
to let them know there is hope
para su familia y
for their
para el
family
niño.
and for the child themselves. I'll just let you know what's happening here is that the elementary school, it's here it's now 1 o'clock. And so the elementary school was dismissed when we first started. You might have seen some of the children. And right now the high school is arriving because they use the same facility for the high school. And you just saw some high school students come in. So like explicando quiénes eran los alumnos. Es el básico.
Awesome. Well, we'll take a couple more questions until we kind of wrap up. And just a reminder again, once we finish this recording, we will let you guys all unmute and we'll be able to just continue the conversation. But just want to ask a question here. Is there any kind of construction being done at Mocohán right now, or any new buildings going on?
In this moment, they're not, but there are plans. I've heard that they're making plans of adding a few classrooms, right? Yeah, they are needing a few more classrooms, so they're planning to build a little bit more, but they haven't started.
Perfect. Another question just came in here. So what is the difference, one of the differences or some of the differences between going to a public school in Guatemala versus going to one of the Vida schools?
Muy bien, la diferencia que
The difference.
está dentro de un establecimiento público,
A public school, the difference between a public school,
se encuentra mucho desinterés.
¿Cómo se dice eso? Desinterés. ¿Hay otra manera de decirlo? Yo no sé cómo decirlo.
No se preocupen.
Oh,
por
yeah,
la educación.
the teachers they're not so involved in the lives of the children that they would care for their life.
Y también el gobierno no se preocupa en brindarle una buena educación a los
And
niños.
the government here, they're not interested in giving a really good education to the children in the public school.
Y los niños allá, pues, en las escuelas,
The children in the public schools,
viven sin practicar los valores.
they're not taught values, character values.
Muchas familias que no conocen de Dios.
Many families don't know the Lord,
En cambio, en un colegio Vida,
but in a Vida school,
se le habla al niño
we talk to the students
de valores cristianos.
of Christian values.
También se preocupa
And we also commit ourselves
por la vida espiritual del niño,
for the spiritual life of each
por la
child,
unión de las familias,
for the unity of the family.
a través de la asistencia a la iglesia.
We encourage them to be involved in a church.
Eso hace diferente la educación de un colegio Vida
That makes a very big difference in the education children receive in a Vida school
a una escuela pública.
compared to a public school.
También en la educación
Also, in the actual academic education,
nos preocupamos mucho
we are very concerned
en su área espiritual.
in their spiritual life.
Tenemos el área de educación cristiana,
We also give them Christian education,
donde preparamos a nuestros niños,
where we prepare our students
hablándoles de la palabra de Dios,
and speaking to them of God's word.
y ellos lo van a transmitir a sus padres.
And they go home and they actually transmit all that to their parents.
Nosotros los discipulamos
We disciple them
para que ellos vayan también ahí a sus hogares
so that they would also go to their
a
homes,
transmitirles vida a sus familias.
so that they could, Vida means the word life, right? And our schools are called Vida schools because they go and they transmit life to their homes.
Y a través de eso,
And through that,
muchos de los padres
many of the parents,
vienen a la iglesia,
they come to church.
se acercan a los caminos de Dios.
They look for God's ways.
Padres que no tienen una vida ordenada,
Parents whose lives are out of order,
que viven con problemas económicos
that have economic problems
y en diferentes áreas de su vida,
and problems in other areas of their lives.
se acercan a Dios
They draw close to the Lord
por medio del niño que está inscrito en el colegio.
because of their child that is registered in the school here.
Y por eso nos impacta a nosotros.
That impacts us.
Awesome. Well, we just want to thank you guys so much. We want to thank you, Oscar, and you, Yaneda, just for taking the time and being a part of this interview. We are going to conclude this in a second, but I just wanted to let you guys know that our next Vida Live will be July 17th. So we do these events the 17th of every month. So that is a Sunday, but we will be featuring our churches. So we're going to be doing an interview with one of our pastors in Guatemala. So it's going to be at 4 p.m. Guatemala time. So just mark that on your calendar and stay tuned for the email coming out about that and our Facebook event as well. But we'll be focusing on churches for July. So just again, want to say thank you. We are going to end this official recording part, but please feel free to stay as long as you'd like. We're going to spend about 20 minutes just letting you guys unmute and we'll just continue this conversation. If you have to leave, then no worries at all. We were just so glad that you were able to come and be a part of this event. So just thank you again, Rita and Oscar and Yaneda, and thank you to all of you guys for being a part of this.